I'm Youre, Willie L, Chris White, for Big the DJ. We all dinner at the Roundtable Podcast.
Welcome to dinner at the Roundtable Podcast with DJ John Devar, Nelly Nell, Chris Ryder, and Bodega the DJ on the ones and twos. Your source to knowledge. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at dinner at the Roundtable.
GG, I am DJ John Devar, Willie L, Chris White, for Big the DJ on the twos. We all dinner at the Roundtable Podcast. We got a special guest. Let me know. Introduce our guest.
You already know, man. Dinner at the Roundtable Podcast. Nelly know in the house, man. We got Taino Domingo, aka Tank from Harlem. You already know in the house, man. My brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
What's up, man? It's good to have you back on.
Welcome, Taino, man. What's going on, brother?
You already know, man. It's always a pleasure, man. You know what I'm saying? When I got that call, I felt honored. I said, oh, man, I must have left an indelible mark in my last interview.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did, my brother. Yes, you did.
Very informative, though, man. Very informative, man. We definitely was one. I mean, part of always the classic episodes we always have here at the Roundtable Podcast, though, man. But very informative, though. HIV, very informative episode, man. But tonight's topic, though, man, revolutionary economics, which is definitely going to dive into this. But I mean, you guys want to just chime in on something, or you guys want to go straight through, man?
I just wanted to talk about, you know, like all the things that's been happening. New York City was on the curfew for the weekend, practically. So people were stuck in their crib a little bit more often than they were used to. Man, you know, the cops weren't that crazy about it, man. They was letting you do you, as long as you weren't like going, you know, as long as you wasn't making too much noise. Man, honestly, you know, I was out there, you know, visiting my mom's and shit one day, and I ended up coming out of my mom's crib going to go see my homie real quick, and they wasn't really on it, but they definitely shut down the looters and the rioting, which helped a bit, you know. But yeah, that was
the whole point of it, though. That was the whole point of it, though.
Yeah,
to stop the looters from getting crazy. You know?
Yo, real quick. I don't want to cut into your convo real quick, but Mr. Nell, I'm glad you brought something up. Let's talk about.
Here we go.
Let's talk about the rioters, my friend. Talk to me about it, man.
You're starting off early, bro. I know.
Nah, you brought it there. You brought it. Listen. You segued right into it. I was gonna let it go, but you know what?
But let me update our listeners. For our listeners who are tuning in, the last time that Tank was on the show, we had a little discussion about like revolutions and when things need to happen to make a change. And I was on the violent side. I was saying that, you know, that after peaceful protest doesn't work, we need to incite violence to to impact the government and corporate America to make a change. And wait, Tank was like, no. Tank was saying that violence don't result to nothing good.
But that was the whole point of the conversation, because like when me and Neil have been talking a lot about the stuff that's been going on for like the past week or so, and you know, I just kept thinking about, and I had another conversation with my brother too, and I was like, money, power, economics, the whole nine. And then I thought about something you said, Tank, about, you know, how money rules everything and how you could get hit and where it hurts. So I was like, damn, I gotta get my boy on the show, because he's definitely gonna talk about it. And that's how, you know, the whole revolution in economics came into play. So talk your shit, Tank, about the riots and all. I wanna see your take.
Nah, I'm just saying, you know, to my brother now, I'm just glad that, you know what I'm saying, you accept. Nah, because listen, I'm just being honest. You know, a lot of times people have personal views, and they stick to their views regardless to what they see. Like many people in the world, you know, they don't admit that their opinion on whatever it is wrong. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is listen, man, it's one thing, right? Like my niece always saying, yo, you swear you know everything, right? But one thing is for sure, two things for certain. I never come out my mouth for anything I don't know about. And whatever I don't have knowledge to, I'll be the first one to ask questions about.
No, you're right.
Right.
You feel me?
You shouldn't be afraid to be wrong, never. You're right. That's how.
Yeah, man. So pretty much with this whole riot situation is like really you're not accomplishing anything from rioting. Especially if you're
Sure.
destroying
Right,
your
right.
own community. That don't even make no sense.
Absolutely.
That's going backwards.
I agree.
Yeah.
You feel
So
me?
It is. It is.
And,
It is.
absolutely.
and I don't condone it, but if you're going to riot, I mean riot where it's gonna hurt somebody.
Yeah, corporate America.
Other
You gotta
than
hit. You
other
gotta hit the big
other than
stores.
you not listen. Let's be for real. Let's be for real.
Molotov. Listen.
You're not gonna hurt no corporation,
Now they got
bro. If
insurance
you
for all that
think
shit.
if you exactly my point. You understand? The bodega on the corner, he don't got insurance.
Yeah, but
So
if
if
you
you
got
do that,
if you could stop their
Right.
bread for a day or two a week, if you could
Talk about
stop
the
their bread
economy
listen,
by
from
listen,
spending.
revenue.
Right, Taino.
listen. Now, I told you this the last interview, bro. Until you attack these people economically, all this little pity pat shit, they just laughing at you. Look at what they
Exactly.
did. Let's give an instance to the people that's listening and watching. So, okay, people started riding past 34th Street and all that. They started breaking into these
They went to
high end.
Macy's. They got
They
into
went
Macy's
into all
type
these
shit.
high end stores and all that. So what did the powers that be did? They said, yo, you know what? We put in a curfew, and after 8 o'clock, nobody could pass 96th Street. So what does that mean? That means, yo, y'all not gonna fuck up our shit. Do me a favor, go fuck up your shit. We all right.
I'm glad you asked you
You
because that's the
understand what I'm
same thing I
saying?
thought. I
So
thought about the same thing.
a
How
lot
they
of
change the
people,
location. You
a
can't go
lot
to a
of
certain
people,
location
listen,
now. That's
listen,
the whole
man,
plan. Yeah, go ahead. Talk that talk.
listen,
Talk that talk, Tank. I mean,
listen.
that's what I've been saying myself,
It's all you have to do is open your eyes and you can see what's going
brother.
on around you.
There
See
you
what I'm
go.
saying? Yesterday I went uptown for a second and I'm seeing people, we shall overcome, and everybody's doing these marches and all that. And listen, man,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't knock it, but you're not gaining anything by doing that. They've been saying we shall overcome for over 60 years. What have we
Right,
overcame?
right.
Not a damn thing. You
That's
understand what
right.
I'm saying? Until we start realizing, like we just finished speaking about earlier, the interview from Claude Anderson on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah,
Until
yeah.
we as a people start supporting each other economically
There you
and
go.
start changing the mindset of our children, because it's over for us. Bottom line. You know what I
Mm.
mean? We have to be able to right now guide the children of tomorrow to the understanding that, listen, first of all, I mean, if you got a rapper, if you talented to be a basketball player or be whatever, then you know what I'm saying? I hear you, B. But it's time to start doing things as far as trying to teach people industrial technology,
Mm.
uh, being a judge, being a lawyer, just
Something
things
other than
that,
entertainment and you know what I mean, athletes. You're right about that because
Yeah,
they
now.
are
Yeah.
conditioned.
listen,
I feel
at the
like it's
end
the
of the
only way
day,
out.
at the end of the day, right? You have to have money. Money brings power. The only way that we can make a difference is if we have capital. You
That's
can't
right.
just say, you can't just do marches and expect shit to happen. That's not gonna happen. All they're gonna do is placate you for a minute and then look, right now, what they doing right now? Right now, they just reading up all these police departments across the 50 states budget. You got people out here, how all this money in New York, and you got people that's homeless.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Yep.
understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they're not funding anything for the youth of tomorrow. They're actually taking more than what they're giving them. But they give a bunch of people that's beating your ass and killing you all this money.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like people
Right,
got to
right.
realize the big picture. Like I'm still confused with all these billionaire and millionaire people like Oprah and things of that nature. Like you would rather go across the continent to make something happen for
Right.
their
South Africa. Yeah,
economy,
yeah. Help out over
their
there, but not help out.
economy
Mm-hmm.
and their betterment instead
Mm.
of right here where you live at. Like that doesn't
Right,
even make sense.
right, right,
Like we still haven't heard anything from Oprah. You
right,
see what I'm
right.
saying? Soon as a black person does something wrong, Gayle King is the first one to start shooting.
For
You
real.
haven't heard anything from both of these women.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not the only ones. I question every millionaire, billionaire, because at the end of the day, you have enough influence and enough money to be able to start an infrastructure that is for us. You know, it may sound hella militant and hella crazy, but we need to start getting back to a segregated mindset, man. You know, because we the people that are having Gucci, Louis, and all these other people in the places that they are, because quiet is kept.
Right,
White
right.
people don't be buying they shit like we buy it.
Right.
Mhm.
The biggest
So
The biggest
consumers is us.
consumers.
We the biggest consumers, minorities, blacks and Latinos, because well, culturally we're kind of stuck on that too in a sense, but because we're attracted to branding, because we come from the slums, we come from poverty. So when we have a few pockets, I mean a few dollars in our pockets, we always want to show it off by wearing name brand stuff. Not all of us, but a lot of us do, and
And majority of them.
it doesn't help. It doesn't help that our community, our leaders in celebrity status actually indulge that, like rappers and basketball players and just
Yo, quick
sport
question.
athletes.
Quick
They
question
indulge,
now.
yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off. Are you guys familiar with a 529 plan?
Say it one more time. Can I hear you?
529
Are you?
plan?
Yes. Are you familiar with that?
I'm not
John, you
familiar
should
with that.
know. You should know. All right. 529 plan is basically uh um it's similar to stock, but it's stock of your children, meaning that you can put money every month into a funding. So by the time it's time for them to go to college, they have, or you have some capital to use for that. Or you can
That's
give it to
exactly
them
what I was trying to
and just
do.
tell them, yo, listen, this is your money. You don't want to go to school. I should have taught you economics by this time. You should know how to spend your money or do something with your money. So these are things you would rather buy Gucci. You would rather dress your children up in designer shit before you say, yo, let me provide for their future. Let me
You
put this money aside. So that way, by the time they get to a certain age, they have a chance in this fight. Because we don't give our children a chance at all. We don't educate them. We don't have the means because as soon as we get it, we're spending it, you know. And once again, yo, I came up in an environment, bro, where it was everybody looked out for each other. You know what I'm saying? It was the old adage, uh, a village raise a child. We don't have that mindset right now. We're so far from that mindset is the reason that we're behind the eight ball. You know, because at the end of the day, people think like protesting and all that shit brings solidarity. That shit is nothing, man. I'm telling you, you can't make no money off of none of that. You feel me?
Yeah. I agree.
But
I mean, I,
but
I was saying
somebody
that last
somebody
weekend.
yeah, but somebody would rather buy a Gucci shit or Louis shit. But you know, your man that live in your building, he has a startup company with some clothes and things of that nature. You'll see him and be like, yo, let me get that on the muscle. Instead of you being like, yo, homie, here, let me support you. Even if you don't go nowhere.
Yeah,
Let me get a couple shirts, let me get a couple hats. Let
yeah,
me get
yeah.
that. Let me rock that. You understand
And
what I'm saying? And it's terrible, bro. It's terrible.
that's a
It is.
that's what today's topic is: revolutionary economics. We have to start changing the way that we put our money into the economy. We have to we have to change that. We have to start supporting local businesses and self-made people. These big corporations, Target, Amazon, Walmart,
Could
Gucci,
care less
all
about you.
forget, they don't care less
Could care
about
less
you.
about you.
You know, they already have billions of dollars, and they have their people. They go shop. You know, which
Yo,
but
let
we need to
people
know.
stop.
We
Let
need
people
to.
stop shopping, bro.
Yeah,
You hear
they'd be
me?
crazy
Yo,
Stop
because
shopping.
we.
Stop shopping at Target, Walmart, BJ's,
Yeah,
Costco's, all that.
we have
Buy
to.
straight mom and pops and
We have
watch
to.
how these people will be like, yo, hold on.
We have to affect them economically so they can make changes. And once they see that, those politicians that they gave money to for their campaigns. They're gonna be knocking their doors. They're gonna be like, listen, I don't know what's going on, but we're not making enough money. We gave you $2 million for your campaign. Make those people start buying again. Change your law. Do something. They're gonna go
You
knocking on
know,
those doors. You know what I
you
mean?
know, Tank. When you're talking about that 529 plan, I was thinking about that very same thing because I wanted to open up a bank account for my son, and then I wanted to continue to put money into it. And then what I wanted to do was teach him the value of money, so that way when he turns 18, I could present him with his bank account and say, "This is the amount
That's
of
a
money you
stock,
have."
man. That's a stock, bro.
You
That's a
know?
stock. I don't even call that an account. That's a stock.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then it's whatever you want to do with that is what you want to do, but make sure that you're smart with that money. You know,
Yo,
and then
listen,
put
man.
that money into it because that's why I put on Instagram that I wanted to completely cut out as much corporate style spending as I can and start investing in
Yo,
That's the only
independent
way
you
to
businesses
wanna
and
know?
mom and pop.
revolutionize the. That's the only way to revolutionize the economy is by leaving our money in our community. The Jewish people do that. The Asian people do that. They only buy in their stores. They only buy from each other. That's why they're so powerful
Yo,
because
you wanna know? Oh, God.
especially the Jewish community, they're very powerful because they only buy from each other. They only go to doctors that are Jewish. They only go to Jewish hospitals. They have their own ambulance. They have their own police. They have their own everything. They keep it within them. It's not about being, selfish. It's about looking out for us, looking out for one another because corporate America, which is 99% ran by white privileged people, they do not care about us, man. And that's the whole thing. That's the only way to hit them is to attack their pockets, man.
Yo, check this out, right?
Go ahead, son. Thank.
Oh, you wanted to chime in, Jay? Go ahead.
No, listen, brother. I really appreciate you being here because everything you've been saying was said last weekend
Oh, okay.
with the whole economic of taking the money out the economy of just, what I'm saying, understanding that power and wealth is the most important thing. As nothing else was talking about Jews, that's why they don't become a target. The police don't mess with them. You know why? Because they have power and wealth. They know that they can't be fucked with. But
You
we
know
know, they know that we're vulnerable. They know that we have no power. We have no wealth. So that's why we were easy target for these police. Because they know that. You know what I'm saying? Not until we create power and wealth, we're always going to be a target in the system. And I'm glad that you actually said about keeping an open mind because that was my final thought. Keep an open mind to new information. Because at the end of the day, you're right about that. Protesting, I don't take anything away from that. But we need new tactics. We need new approaches of how to really change this. Because at the end of the day, this is psychological warfare. Okay? This is all about psychology right now, of how to really hit them hard. And you're right about that. It's the economy. Definitely.
Yo, the crazy thing is, right? Yo, historically, right? It's been shown that soon as the quote unquote minorities, because I don't consider ourselves the minority, as soon as the minorities show some type of come up, white folks be quick to shut it down.
Oh, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like this goes back to just like I told you to watch that documentary and things like that. Because people always talk about Black Wall Street and things like that, and they really don't. They just know it through hearsay. They really don't do no research and things like that. But it was more than just Black Wall Street. Back at the time after slavery, like that's what freed slaves wanted. They wanted their own pieces of land and things of that nature. And you had, for the most part, once segregation started, you had segregated Black communities that were thriving.
They were.
Without even having any assistance from white people at all. But what the white people do? Same thing they did in Black Wall Street. They started going in their communities and ravishing that whole shit up. Yep. You understand what I'm saying? Like, look, a beautiful point that Dr. Anderson made in the Breakfast Club, right? As far as the bus boycott, yo, y'all dudes is worried about sitting in front of the bus instead of buying a bus and have your own community type shit.
I said the same
like
thing.
What
yep.
The mindset is just ridiculous that we have. You know what I'm saying? And listen, once Martin's mindset started changing, when he started realizing
Economics.
that he
Yep.
was
They started
leading
realizing.
people the wrong way with this turn the other cheek and we should,
Yeah.
they bodied him.
Yep. Once you start
You
talking
understand what I'm
about
saying?
social inequality,
Yo,
that was
listen,
it.
we so lost right now in so many ways. Look at this. Since I don't even know within the past month or in the last 2 years, Agent Orange has put over 130 judges in the
Agent
Supreme Court, bro.
Agent Orange. For those who don't know
You
who
know,
Agent Orange is, that's Donald J.
That,
Trump. That's what we call him on the show. You know what I'm saying?
so he's put over 130 people in the Supreme Court. If anybody knows, if you're a judge in the Supreme Court, you're a judge till you die.
yeah. There's no term limit. Yep. No
So,
term limit.
with that being said, not only do we have
Give me the map.
everything that has to do with economy against us, we got people that's literally on some old, listen, lock them people up, don't let them get past a certain level.
Mhm.
Listen, man, this shit is bigger than rap, you heard?
You heard.
It is.
Nah,
It
real
is.
And
talk. Real
now
talk.
It is. And you know
and
what?
now that we are in the hold on real quick now. I'm gonna spit it out real quick. And now that we're coming up to elections and things of that nature, yo, you know how scary it is that it doesn't matter who we vote for, nobody's gonna care about our agenda.
Yep. I
But it's
agree.
so crazy. It's so crazy that we have to get this dude out of there. But the alternative is not even better because
Exactly. It's not.
historically, Democrats have been one of our biggest downfalls for even supporting.
Yeah, because they know that traditionally we're going to vote for them, and they already got our vote because of that. Because of tradition, they don't do a lot. They don't do nothing for us. To be honest, Democrats, they just talk a good one, but they don't walk it. I mean,
Yo,
Obama
bro,
did a lot. Obama did a lot, but
what
you
he
know what I
did.
mean. But
Tell me one thing Obama did. Everybody talked this
well,
Obama. What Obama did?
I'm not gonna get into the specifics, but I'm saying like that traditionally Democrats just talk a good one and they don't really do anything.
Oh,
You know what
bro,
I mean? Because
listen,
they
man.
know
But
that
a lot of what he tried to
they
do
They
was
know
all
that
are
rock
part of
though.
the same thing.
yeah. Let's talk one at a
Anyway.
time, please. One at a time. They know that the votes are locked in by certain people already locked in because of a tradition through family. You know what I mean? And that's the problem there. We
Man.
need to basically assess our political views individually. Doesn't matter what your parents did. Doesn't matter what your friends are doing. You analyze the politician that you think fits your ideologies, and then you vote no matter what party you register for. You vote for the
Bottom
person who you
line,
think you vote for the
bottom,
person who you think is right.
that ideology is like, you know what I mean? Because honestly speaking, man, Democrats only holler at you when they need a vote. They don't holler at you
Exactly.
afterwards. Historically, it's showing that. Not only that, if you want to get technical, I mean, if anybody's seen the Netflix documentary, The 13th,
Oh,
Bill
Yes.
Clinton was one of the worst presidents colored folk could ever have.
word. And they love him
You
so
know what
much. I
I'm
don't know
saying?
why. Black
And
and
it's
Latinos
crazy.
love Clinton so much for no reason.
Everybody wants to because he plays the saxophone and he was getting ahead and all that. He makes us one of us. Like,
Oh, he was smoking. He was
yo,
smoking
bro,
blunts. He know what. He know
listen,
what the
man.
haze tastes like. Fuck
Listen.
out of here, bro.
At the end of the
Listen.
day, man. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
we gotta hold these people accountable, man. And that's not just only in the big office. You gotta start holding the city councilors
Yeah.
accountable too,
And
bro.
this is what this is.
All these
I
people in
agree.
this
Yeah.
all
And
these
this is what
people
a lot
that
of people. Yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
Ty,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, yeah.
This is what a lot of people don't understand. Controlling your local government is more important than controlling the federal government. You have to start in your community, and you have to start in your city and your state. You know what I mean? Because there's 50. See what I'm saying? Each state has their own identity. So voting for the president is not going to make a big impact because the electoral college makes that decision. You know what I mean? Voting for the right councilman, for the right mayor, for the right governor, that's what really counts. You have to make things right where you live at to make a difference first. You see what I'm
And
saying?
that's what that was the main point that I made last week.
But a
Is
lot of
like,
people are not
you know,
educated and they
yeah.
don't know that. Some people don't even know what district they belong to. Yet, who's their councilman? They don't know who to go complain to. I kid you not. If you stop somebody in the streets right now from your block and you ask them, who is your councilman? What district did you belong to? They will have no clue whatsoever. Most people.
Well, they can tell you everything about sports, though. They can tell you everything about sports.
They can tell you where to go buy that bag of weed, or you know what I'm saying, where to get a haircut,
They
or
can
where
tell
the
you
party at.
everything.
Or where
There's
the
no
party at.
relevancy.
That was my point last week that I was saying that when I was, you got to start at your councilmen, you got to start at your district attorneys, you got to start there, make the change there, and then you work your way up. Because if you're not doing that, you voting the same person into the same office over and over again.
Yeah,
and
Chris,
nothing's gonna change.
Can you just explain again that same thing that you said last time about every state being like their own little country in the sense under one regiment?
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's
what it is.
Yeah.
The United States of America is 50 countries
under one
acting
regiment.
as a coalition.
Yeah.
It's a unity. They're all saying, listen, we're all gonna be unified as one. But every state it's in itself its own country. It has its own governor, which is like a president, has its own Congress, and and you can't go to another state and live in another state with your same ID. You got to get your ID from that state, and you got to get registered in that state. You can't just go up and leave and say, "Oh, I'm gonna go to New Jersey," and then not do nothing about it. You gotta register there. You gotta incorporate yourself there. That's what people don't understand. That's why when they get pissed off at Donald Trump, it's like he's not gonna do nothing for you unless you go into your governor, complain to your governor, your mayor, your councilman, your body. They're the ones that are gonna make the change or put the wheels in motion. But a lot of people don't understand that.
Yo, the crazy thing, right? It's funny that you mentioned that, right? Which is all straight facts. But look at the type of shit. This is the shit that pisses me off about us, right? All right, the census. It is an absolute fact that if you don't fill out that census, that money will go to somebody else.
Oh yeah.
9 times out of 10, that somebody else ain't a person of color. So what happens, right? It comes every 10 years. So do you think that, that shit takes literally, as fast as you could type? Let's just say that. As fast as you could type. You don't got to go nowhere. You don't have to fucking request anybody to fucking send you a link. You can go straight to the joint census and get a fucking application right there, right? Excuse me. Right. But this shit is just amazing to me.
But me ask you a question. Why in the Black and Latino communities, you're talking about the census, the census. I'm sorry, census. In Black and Latino communities, just because we've had discrepancies with the law, or we're just careful because we're scared for our lives, right? Typically, when somebody comes knocking on the door, we don't open, or we're not open to have that dialogue with a census agent because we're scared. Bro,
you don't have. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
You don't have to.
You don't have to. It's online.
You could do it online. Yeah, I know, but I'm saying sometimes the census agents come to people who don't have access to computers. Listen, my grandmother, my grandmother, rest in peace, that she passed away, but she didn't have access to a computer. How the hell that she was gonna get online?
They mail it to you.
You do it for her. You do it for her. That's what you
can do it for her.
Because at the end of the day, listen. At the end of the day, man, can't nobody tell me they don't know what a census is, man. Bottom line.
There's a lot of people that don't know.
Funding that your community needs, nah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't know.
I'm not jacking that.
They more than likely don't know what
they
you
know
just
the
said
definition.
Right now,
they don't know the definition of it.
Else. They don't know that. They definitely don't know that.
That part they don't know. That part they don't know.
Right.
I'll give you that.
I'll give you that. There's people that've heard the name, but they don't know what the census actually does.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, to say that with Tech, to piggyback what Tech was saying, though, we definitely are not really educated, though, into understanding the system. And when you think about your local governments, you got to make sure that person representing your district is from that environment, is from that community. Because at the end of the day, if that person not from your environment, why the hell you putting that person in that position for? Because they ain't gonna be safe.
You can't Billy Bob Job, whatever his name is, from Hicksville represent the Heights. That makes no sense.
Yo, Jay,
Usually
now
people
check
who
this out, right?
yeah.
This is to me, this is just my opinion. The fact that we have all the, I'm glad you brought that up, Jay. The fact that we have all these issues with police officers are what? They're not from that community, man.
Right, right,
You understand what I'm saying?
right.
They're not from that community. They have no empathy. They're scared for their lives.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? So this is something that needs to be changed. There needs to be a structure, right? I'm
Tag,
not
man,
gonna
hold on,
say
Tag,
every
hold on, man. Hold up before you continue. So what's the excuse for the cops that actually know the culture? Like there's Dominican cops that work in the Heights and
but
they
you're gonna
still act
have that.
stupid.
You're gonna have that,
But
bro.
they ain't from the
That's
Heights.
like
They're
saying,
not from
hold
the
on,
Heights
hold on,
though.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
They're Dominican cops from Queens that work in the Heights. They don't know the area, but they still
Yo, bro,
Dominican. They know the
listen,
culture, so they still
listen.
act stupid.
I understand what you're saying. I'm not saying that you're gonna eradicate bad cops. I'm just saying it helps more with a cop that can identify with his neighborhood. You think
Yeah,
you think you think honestly, like I'm not saying it's not gonna happen, but I just think it's a little bit more if that cop, let's say from when they beat them little kids up and LES for not having a mask on. I
Right.
guarantee you, if it would have been on in his neighborhood, he probably would have thought twice of that.
He probably would have known the kid
Not
though.
saying not even
yeah,
that
that's what I'm
too.
saying. Like that's what I'm
That
saying. Like,
He'd
too.
have known
But
the
this is what
kid.
I'm
listen,
trying to
listen.
say.
All right, cops typically it's cops. They rise from that area. If you're a cop and you grew up in Harlem, you after the 5 years you're making close to $100,000. You're not gonna live in Harlem anymore. But if you get reassigned there because you're from that neighborhood, I get that. I get exactly what you're saying. They should do that. Like, okay, you was originally from Harlem. I know you're making more money now. You live in fucking Albany or whatever it is. You live out in Queens, Long Island, because you got money now. But we need to reassign you to Harlem where you're originally from, so you can have a little bit more connection with the people from
Bottom
that community.
line, man. I'm telling you, bottom
Definitely.
line. It's I'm I'm not even gonna bet because I don't gamble. All I'm saying is this: the old way
You never
isn't
gambled in
working.
your life. You bet
Nah, I'm
you
not a
you
gamble.
bet
I
me 10
gamble.
push-ups the other day,
Nah,
man.
nah. I
That's
gamble
how you
with my.
wasn't a
I
bet.
gamble. I gamble with my life, which is worse. But I don't gamble. I don't play with money. I got the
I
Hulk
saw.
stuff ready to come out. But
Hmm. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead,
but
make your point, Tag. Go ahead.
yeah, but pretty much, man. I can almost believe that you have to try different shit, man. Just like our way of
Always,
thinking has to change right now with this situation
always.
that's going down. They have to start from the top and be like, yo, you know what? Let's start dropping back some of these white officers that are in black neighborhoods. You understand what I'm saying? Let's start trying to shift the demographic of officers and bring some of them, though they may live in Wisconsinville. Who gives a shit? If you grew up in Harlem, if you grew up in Brooklyn, if you grew up in Minneapolis, whatever, send them over there and let's see what the climate is gonna be like.
Right,
Because obviously what's happening is not working.
right, right, right.
So you know what I'm saying? Drastic measures need to be taken, man. It's
Absolutely,
drastic times. So you got
absolutely.
to think outside the box. You
You
can't
have to.
be just, yo, you know what? This is what's been happening, and we just gonna keep going with it.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
You know,
we shall overcome them. You know what I'm saying?
but
Let's keep
it's crazy
the
because
good
there was
fight with.
information
Come on, man.
Yeah, I
that
agree with
came
you.
out about cops from Minnesota and Minneapolis that a lot of them have like major disciplinary actions. Problem is that
Just to do that kill George had
yeah,
bad
and there's
infractions.
no accountability towards cops who do wrong, and then you should have cops checking other cops. And
One thing at
the
a
big
time,
difference
though.
is no, but the big difference is that you every cop should be evaluated mentally every year to see if they're fit to actually be on the streets.
Well,
And that's the problem is that they sweep a lot of these,
I
you
definitely
know,
agree with
these
that one.
bad things underneath the table. He beat up this guy, don't worry about it. And it was for no reason. He pointed his gun at a young mother with two children. Let's just sweep it under the rug, you know? The problem is that and the fight is for to be able to be equal with everybody. And until we start holding the cops accountable for the shit that they do, whether they black, white, or Hispanic, or Asian, or whatever the fuck, until we hold these cops accountable, it's gonna continue.
One thing we got to point out too, though, a lot of these police departments have a lot of investors. For those who don't know that, and investors that actually they pay for the muni bond, which basically they invest in those cities, and with that money is how cops are able to get better equipment and able to get actually their salary increased. So that's another thing they got to keep in mind. The muni bond, which definitely has a lot to do with.
Let me ask you a question, Jay. Why does a cop need an M4? Why does he need an M4? I mean, in reality, what are the odds of a cop actually getting into a major firefight? Even when they raid apartments.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Do they need M4s? They don't need M4s.
When they raid drug suspects, typically is known that they're going to be armed because you know what I mean. But I definitely get what you're saying because in Europe and Britain, the cops don't use guns.
Outside the U.S., they don't use guns.
They don't. A regular B cop does not have a gun on them in Great Britain.
They got sticks.
Yeah, and tasers and shit.
The gun laws over there in Great Britain are different. No, that's why too, though. Yes.
Yo, man.
Their criminals are different. You said.
The gun laws, yes.
Nah, don't get it twisted, man. British criminals are just
Britain, bro.
Yeah,
they get it popping, bro. And they probably even worse than here.
The gangs of London. The gangs of London are real, bro. They heavier than here, bro. I'll tell you the truth.
All right. I'm saying the gun laws are different.
All the gun laws. I'm sorry. I thought you said just the criminals are different.
The gun laws are
more innocent out there
in those locations.
Yeah, there is. It is
very different. You know, like Sweden, you're allowed to own a gun, but very rare you hear any gun violence. But it has a lot to do with the social equality, where there's not that much violence, and that's how going back into the main topic. Everything stands with economics. People get violent because of what? Of economic stress. People sell drugs because of what? They
economic stress.
Quick money. You get what I'm saying? So everything again stems back to economics.
Word, Joe.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right. When people
said, Jay.
When people need to go out there, and make ends meet and struggle and feed their family, they're gonna do whatever they need to do. So what do? They resort to crime. You know, if you're in the system,
lack of education.
No, that too. But what if you have that, but the system hasn't been fair to you because there's people who have a great education and they haven't been able to actually get a job in their field or in their major that they went to school for because it's oversaturated, or they don't know somebody who could get them in. They don't know a John Smith. Whose dad owned that company to get him. That happens a lot, Tank.
That goes back though to what I'm saying. If we have our own things, if we have our own economy, 9 times out of 10 we don't have to worry about that. Even though that is a great deal of what happens now. You know, you got people that are in positions and they don't want to help people that are not in positions. That they could just easily be like, yo, go over there and tell them I sent you. Because a lot of times you give a person a chance and they burn you. Now you looking like a fool. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But once again,
that happens in the workforce anyway.
Of course. But once again, like I said though, man, if we segregate ourselves, man, we got a better chance of being something in this country because already in the Constitution, we're worth nothing. We're worth nothing. We can't own anything. You know, you got people that's coming from outside of the U.S. and in a month's time they have more than what we had and we were born here.
We can have something. We just got to work a little bit harder for it, which sucks because we were already born in the system. Why do we have to work so hard? I get it. I don't want anything. Along, man. Listen, I don't want it. Listen, I get it. Like, I don't want anything handed to me. I want to fight for my shit because you appreciate it more. Like, is you appreciate it more when you actually had to work hard to get what you need to go to. But damn, it shouldn't be like hard because you're a certain skin color. It shouldn't be hard because you're from a certain area of the city, or because you're from a different class. It shouldn't be hard because of that. It should be hard because you don't have the credentials. That's what it should be hard for. If you don't have the credentials, you shouldn't get anything because you don't have the credentials. You don't have the experience. You know what I'm saying? Or not even experience, because sometimes you need the experience through your credentials. You know what I mean? Like, you sometimes get into a new career and you don't really know about it. You need the experience. You get the experience afterward, right? But if you don't have the credentials, if you don't have the credentials, you shouldn't get anything handed to you, bro. Fuck that.
Yo, I disagree. I disagree with that. But once again, I let you keep your opinions to later on, where I can just
no, what I meant,
and be like,
nah,
but
listen,
listen.
Let me rephrase that before you continue, because I know how you're gonna get with me later. I'm just saving it. What I'm saying is, if you're going into a particular field of a certain trade and you don't have the credentials to back up that you know how to fix that car, then why should I hire you? You don't have the credentials. Why should I trust your word of mouth? Just because the nigga down the block told me that he seen you change the oil for him, like you're nice on it? No, I want to see that you went to a trade school, that you got a fucking some type of diploma saying, or some type of credential saying that you know what the hell you're doing. That's it.
Nah, I could dig it, man. I could dig it. But let me ask you this. Do you think that would be an issue if we were segregated? And when I keep bringing this word segregated up, right, I'm not saying like we're going to go back to the early times where we living in one side and everybody else is living on the other side. I'm talking about economically. If we're segregated, do you really think that would happen? What you're talking about?
Okay, I see your point. I see your point on that. Because
all right, so let me say this now. Who's the hardest?
Man?
No,
I got,
my
yo,
no,
you know what I got?
brother.
I got the
jaw.
jaw.
Love for you.
Listen, I know I love you too. You're my brother. Yo, I got the Jaws theme song in my head right now. Dum 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 dum.
No, I'm just asking questions, man. I'm just asking questions. You know what I'm saying?
I'm an open book, bro.
What's the who's the hardest working people in New York?
The lower class people, which is
no.
Immigrants. I would say the immigrants.
Once again, who is the hardest workers in New York?
The immigrants. For your Latin American, European, African immigrants, immigrants that come here are the hardest worker because they take the low end jobs and they make it happen.
Yo, bro, on a stack of Bibles. Once again, this is my opinion. I should have took a poll before I made this statement, but I'm gonna just throw it out there regardless. I don't like to be wrong, and I don't like to be freestyling.
That's what we gotta do, though. We gotta do that. We gotta do that.
Mexicans are the hardest motherfucking workers in New York City. Bottom line.
Yeah, but wait, you have Nigerian immigrants who are very
hard workers. Let me ask you a question. All right, yeah. Whenever you go to any establishment, who you see, a Nigerian or you see a Mexican?
A Mexican.
Most of the Mexicans, yeah.
Majority. Right. They are the hardest workers.
Everywhere you go.
I just want it to be fair to other. I just said that because I wanted to be fair to other immigration.
Listen, bro, I said what I said. I stand by it. Like I said, I wish I had the numbers to present it. Yes.
You're right. No, you're right. You know why? Because I work in the retail field, and I know Nell's about to come with some shots because he hasn't done
man,
it
you got your
podcast,
bodyguard with you today. I ain't doing that. you like Whitney Houston and he's Kevin Costner, B. What the fuck? Going on
over here? You gotta stop coming at my boy, man.
Punch him in the stomach, bro. Punch him in the stomach real quick. Now
I'm gonna send you a text privately. I'm gonna get you like that because I want Tank to see it.
Yo, Tank, I sent him a picture of me sharpening my knives and I pointed it like this.
I don't even know why he played with you. As nice as you are with the knives, I don't know why he played.
He don't want the smoke. I can make him disappear very quickly. But anyway, back to what you were saying, though, my brother. You are absolutely correct. Because when this whole thing shut down, a lot of these like supposed sous chefs, were getting their asses kicked, bro. And I know it made them appreciate the fact that most of the dudes that handled a lot of the prep work in the entire place were Mexicans, and these dudes would get down, bro, down. And that's why I got nothing but respect for them, man, because of how hard they work. My assistant manager, who's my direct superior for me, is Mexican, and this dude runs circles around even me sometimes. Like, I took over his spot this last week. I'm tired, and he do that shit every day, 10, 12 hours like it's nothing. And he busts his ass.
And I just say that. You saying something, Jay?
No, what I say, listen, I'm listening to you guys, but I'm gonna definitely chime in, man, because last episode,
Nah, go ahead. Nah,
because
go ahead.
I mean,
feel free, bro. That's what we here for.
Definitely, I respect that, brother. But going back what you were saying way before, because you made a very valid point about the Constitution. When the Constitution was written, Africans were still enslaved, so they didn't have people of color in mind when they wrote the Constitution. So I'm 100% in agreement with you, because again, that paper doesn't mean anything to us.
And you know what I'm saying? Twice.
Exactly.
Twice. And ain't include. You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We ain't even 1/4 of a human to these motherfuckers, man.
Right. And the problem is though, Tank, many people don't go back into history to understand why are we the way today, because they have no knowledge of history, of how things came about. So that's why I really emphasize that people always going back into their history to learn about their history, so we don't have to repeat it. And that's the problem, where we don't understand our history. We got to understand what works, what's been working, and what's not been working in order to come with a new approach, because it's 2020 and we're still going through this same issue that we've been going on for 400 years already. So again,
you honestly think...
Hold on real quick, bro. Jay, why we still going through the same thing?
Lack of knowledge and not understanding our history and not critically thinking and keeping an open mind to new information. We got to understand that this system is not designed for us to really thrive. It's not.
And I agree with you, Jay, but let me ask you guys a question. Do you honestly think a system that was completely not made for us, do you think that it's going to completely go away in 50 years when it's been a mindset for 400?
But if you create another system, it's just going to go away just
like that?
If you create another system, who gives a fuck about the system?
Exactly, right. But that's the thing, though.
Right.
You have a systematic mindset for the last 400 years. 400 years. Do you honestly think that in 50 or 60 years that mindset's just going to change?
It's not.
People have to start doing that. The history.
Yeah,
one.
It's a gradual process. I definitely agree with Chris Ryder. It's a gradual process.
But hold on. But I'm saying though, but what you're seeing now is a gradual awakening. People are starting to be hip to the game. They're starting to see how the game is played.
Well, let's talk about this real quick before you continue.
Let's talk real quick.
Listen, year 2020, real quick. Year 2020, just 2020, that number, mathematically and scientifically, is considered perfect vision, clarity. That's the language of 2020. 2020 numbers have languages, right? 2020 means that. That's the reason why we're seeing all the bullshit that humanity does is coming out to the light. Everything that you could imagine is coming out to light, because 2020, that number signifies universally, scientifically, and mathematically clear vision.
Nice analogy.
Perfect. Yeah.
But check this out, right? One of the things that and like I said, Chris, I said that earlier. You got to start getting with the kids. The only way for it to change, the system to change, is by teaching these children who are going to be the leaders of tomorrow.
Exactly.
But like Jay said, if people knew history,
hell yeah,
they would realize. You understand what I'm saying? Because like I said earlier again about the police situation, you have to make a drastic change. You got to do a whole shift.
Yeah.
For it to bring about any type of change, because yes, sir.
You know that Minnesota's considering dismantling their police force and starting a new one, supposedly.
Yeah, they're supposedly they're supposed to do something completely different.
Continue. I'm sorry. I just want to let you know that. Because it was going down the alley he was talking about.
And what is that? What type of move is that?
What do you mean?
A drastic move.
A drastic move.
Drastic move. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
understand what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, man, we could keep talking. We could bring up 1,000 points, man. If nobody listens and processes it to try to make a change, we're gonna keep doing the same shit, the same picket fucking we shall overcome. It's gonna still be the same
But
thing.
you know,
man.
then that's why, fellas, it starts
that's
with
why
us.
talking the narrative and spitting the juice is all good if you're doing that. But if you ain't out there trying to make a change or trying to like at least change your environment so that the people who are around you can make a change, like you're gonna keep on going in circles, man. It's gonna be like a scratch record. Luckily that the Minnesota governor and Minneapolis mayor are on board with the non police brutality issue, and they're ready to change the laws, bro. They don't give a fuck. They was on our side.
That's a drastic change. That's a big step. Like that just going from 1 to fucking 100.
Yeah.
You know
So from the very beginning, we saw. From the very beginning, we saw the mayor.
That's the way it should be.
We saw the mayor and the governor on our side, on the citizens
side. You all right? You have, you have a lot of very violent, criminals and stuff like that. But I think that you should let organizations like the FBI handle that, and you should have these instead of having a local police force, institute something that's better suited for the community rather than having these guys all walk around with a gun, number one, because the average citizen can be put down with a taser, and just get to or even rubber bullets. Why these cops holding ammunition, live ammunition at that, is beyond me. But there's no reason for it. Yeah. There's no reason for it.
C-Dub, C-Dub. Okay. Check this out, C-Dub. Pardon me now.
C-Dub, that's your name right now? Awesome. Yo,
I was just thinking off the top of my head after what that shit.
Tank, is that his name? Like, cause this nigga, cause Chris Friday's been basically doing hand-to-hand sales of meat during the quarantine from his crib.
Whoa.
Is that like his street name?
Pause. Jesus Christ. Yo, you've been very erotic this evening, man. I'm glad you haven't done it on live, but that was crazy, man.
Hey, man, it's year 20, bro. It's year 2020.
He loves talking about the meat I serve, Paul.
I'm not afraid to speak my mind. It's 2020, baby.
Let's keep it on topic.
Don't discriminate because I'm talking about.
Go back on topic.
They're discriminating right now.
Tech got something to say. What's up, Tech? What's your response? Oh, you got
I just lost my thought because that was crazy the way you wait to that. You know what I mean?
Yo, but listen,
Chris,
listen real quick. Chris? Wait, before you continue, just to let you know. So you talking about revolutionary economics. I got my own eyeglass company. I got my own eyeglasses company. You should have bought those frames off of me, boy.
Yo, listen,
off
man.
the white man, bro. Get out of here, man.
I ain't bought off the white man. You crazy?
So you should have.
If I tell you where I got it from, you'd be like, "Damn, my boy." But
next time you get it from me, I'll get you that good shit, bro, for half the price. You heard?
Listen, man. All I need is what's inside, bro. I don't care about the outside part. But check it, right? Drastic measures need to also come into play as far as police brutality. There has to be consequences. Like you see all these mass shootings and things of that nature, right? And I'm just using this as an example. When these mass shootings happen, mind you, it's not by us. You don't never see a motherfucking black person going and killing the whole fucking. Yeah. We don't do that. We kill ourselves before we do all that shit. Yeah. But anyways, I digress. So when these mass murders happen, 85% of the time, what happens? Any one of you.
Well, either they kill themselves or they get detained, but there's no, you know what I mean?
Stop.
The cops don't go there and brutalize the guy.
You already said what happens.
Yep.
People kill themselves. Meaning what? I'm not gonna let somebody kill me. I'm gonna just do it myself. They're afraid of somebody airing their ass out, right?
Right.
So this is
But,
back to when I
but
was.
even if that wasn't the case, a
Hold on
little
now.
white boy is not gonna get killed by the cops, bro. I've
Hold
seen
on
the
now.
shootouts
Hold on real
with
quick.
little white boys, and they don't do anything with them.
Now, Jay,
Right.
I asked you earlier if you got a gun license. Same way that I asked C-Dub, right?
Right.
I believe in having arms.
Mhm.
I don't need to be a part of NRA. I could just watch what's going on in the pulse of the streets. You understand what I'm saying? And
Right.
if they're doing it, why are we not doing it?
Exactly.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
First and foremost. Second of all, let's just say, right? We're in the movie theater. Somebody comes through
Like
and
the
they start
Batman shit.
shooting.
Yeah.
Will they shoot if the percentages of the people in there are armed?
Oh my God,
Or
you hit
will
it
they
right at the
not?
nail.
Or will they not?
I
got
agree
next.
with you.
Because of
I'm raising my hand. I got next.
But you know what, Tank? Let me
I'm
you
gonna leave
know
that.
what?
I'm gonna leave that right there, and I'm gonna let y'all
I
chime in
raised
on
my
that.
hand, man.
Yeah, man.
Yo,
I
Jay.
just put a stake down
Hold
in front
on,
of a bunch
John.
of wild
You've been talking
animals.
a lot, man.
Yo,
You've been talking
John
too much,
Tavar.
baby.
John Tavar is an educator.
Yo, listen,
But I
let
raised
John
my
go
hand.
in, B.
John
Let
Tavar is an
John go in,
educator.
man.
Your students raise their
I'm
hand
not
when they
gonna
want to
pick on
talk,
you
right?
right now.
All right, so real quick, I just want to. I'm gonna make it quick, John Tavar, because I know you're hype with your neon John Tavar logo there.
Yeah, I'm dead. I'm
Yo,
dead.
Tag loves it when I hit people. Anyway, but yo, you hit it right on the nail. And John Tavar was saying this earlier. Remember, John Tavar, you were saying it. You kind of hinted a little bit. In states where people are allowed to carry, there's less gun violence, because you're gonna think about it twice if you know the next motherfucker got strapped. Because it's the luck of the draw, baby. If you pull out, he pulls out before you, he gets you, it's over. So it's like Tank was saying, if you go into a movie theater and you know there's 10 people there and 9 of them are strapped, you're less likely to pull out your shit because you know you're gonna get got. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
In New York State, we have a large rate of gun violence. It's because it's so hard to get a gun. So people always want what they can't have. If you go to in Florida, the gun violence is low because everybody's strapped.
They walk around with their guns. Like what was in Tennessee? They just walking around with their guns like it's nothing.
All day.
You
right in the car.
Yup.
Right in the car.
Just like that.
And New York is the toughest state too, I think, for that.
Baby. If I pull
New
out,
New York makes it so difficult though. Also, New York makes it very difficult because it varies from different states.
You know why? Because we have a larger population too, so they don't want like 8 million motherfuckers.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm pro carrying. If New York do that, man, the crime rate gonna be astronomical. You know what I'm saying?
You think so?
What?
But I just said that, and people, you don't think that people knowing that everybody's carrying, they'll think twice before like letting off.
Listen,
you
man.
think
I think
New York niggas are stupid. They just gonna do crazy shit.
And forgive me for what I'm gonna say if I offend anybody, man. Was LA, Chicago, New York, and Florida? We could care less if how many guns you got, man.
Well, you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But back to like I was saying though, man, and it goes back. How I'm trying to correlate that whole thing that I just brought up is when you don't have any consequences, you're prone to do shit. If cops know if they shoot a motherfucker or do any type of brutality and the consequences is gonna be severe, I guarantee you they're gonna be like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to think about this one right here. Because if you notice, and it's the shit that kills me, right? Like people have the nerve to be putting up inflammatory shit on Facebook and Instagram about officers doing all this fuck shit. Like, why are you trying
shot
to?
at me, bro? Because I've been putting
No. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general, man. That's what you see. Like that's not helping the situation out at all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What you need to be putting up is what C-Dubs always sees when I put up anything that I put up has to do with the betterment of ourselves.
Yeah, man.
Well,
and I'm always,
right.
Me and Tank always be talking on Instagram though.
You're right, but you know what I do? I want the betterment. But I want to give people both sides because I put up videos myself where there's people doing the fuck shit, and I put up the videos where the cops are doing fuck shit. Both sides, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, listen, everybody knows the bad, fam. Go through history. Look at the tapes. I
Doesn't
don't need to
matter.
see no more. I don't need to see no more, bro.
I want to expose
That's what
it.
I'm trying to tell you, because at the end of the day, I could wake up and have
It's my freedom of
right?
speech tag. I could put what I want on my IG, baby.
No, I feel you, bro. I feel you. But you have to understand. You have to understand also. Whether you know or not know, you're a public figure. You have a show. You have a platform.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm a social butterfly.
Your platform should be used to promote more than that. Like me, I would rather say what happened instead of showing it what happened, because it's two different reactions.
Yeah, we do both actually. We show and we say.
So I'd rather say, yo, this fuck shit happened, instead of showing a person, because a lot of times people can't visualize what you're saying.
Exactly, you're right.
Feel me? So it's like, all right, yo, he said this and this is what happened. Oh, boy, that's crazy.
That's what happened with that Dykeman video. The same thing happened with the Dykeman video.
Don't even talk.
They saw the video, people got the wrong impression.
Bro, I'm trying to leave that out of this. I'm trying to leave that out of this conversation.
You ain't from Dykeman, you don't care. You from Harlem, bro.
I don't give two shits about where I'm at. Wrong is wrong, right is right. That was some bullshit.
You know, Washington Heights and Harlem dudes, we got issues with
I don't care. Listen, that wasn't no Harlem, Washington Heights shit.
No,
that was straight prejudice, bro.
No, but I'm saying is that we Harlem and Washington Heights cats, we're unified, and we always like get together to go against Dykeman because they're bigger than us.
Bro, listen, I don't give two shits where you're from. Prejudice is fucking the reason why.
I don't think that was about
we are where we at.
It was about
It was about
because that kid Flacco's half Dominican because it was there when they approached.
Brother.
Let's not get into it, like you said. Let's not get into it.
Brother.
Because I know the facts from the inside.
I know the facts too, bro.
I spoke to Mike Jones myself. I know exactly, and Spook, and the Waterboy. Those are my niggas. Like I spoke to them, and you know what I'm saying. I know exactly what it is. Listen, Flacco is actually related to Waterboy.
We're not even gonna put governments none of that shit on the show.
No,
Bottom line, that shit was a terrible look, and it
was a terrible look.
I guarantee you right now, if we wasn't in quarantine, there'd have been a lot of people dropping behind that shit. You know what I'm saying? But once again, I digress, man.
Yes, sir.
Shit is very incendiary out here, man.
You can't be in a neighborhood after curfew hours.
You gotta be careful.
It's passing by. Like, it's not gonna happen.
Fam, I left that alone. Stop bringing it up. Now I'm talking about what we were talking about. The topic, bro. I don't get into that.
All right, cool. All right.
You know what I'm saying? So
speak your shit, Tank. Speak your shit.
Nah, man, he trying to tank me right now, bro. Nah.
Man.
That's my brother. I love him, man. I love him.
I come in peace, man.
Yo, we like two linebackers in the football field. Bro, knock each other out.
I'll keep
we brothers at the end of the day. We went like this for the helmets.
Y'all know my stance when it comes to violence, man.
We went like this.
The easiest shit. Hov said it best, man. It's hard not to kill niggas. It's like a full-time job not to kill niggas. The easiest shit in the world is to be ignorant.
Right.
That's that song.
The easiest thing in the world is to be ignorant.
It don't take
you know what that is? You want to know? You know what that is? To have self-control when a situation is in a heated moment, and it's up to you to decide which way you're gonna push that cursor.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a definition of a person.
Right.
That's the character of a person.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Which is why, like I said, I don't even listen, bro. I'm just here trying to find a solution.
Right.
Trying to come up with ways that we can find a solution.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about.
I already said 1,000 of them.
You're
not paying attention tonight, man?
No.
I just said 1,000 of them shit.
Police brutality shit. Let's talk about. Let's just focus on that. Let's stop talking about everything else that we already know about. Let's talk about like the local businesses. Let's do that. Me and Chris, Chris actually came up with the idea. I'm not gonna take credit for it, but you know, he came to me and he spoke to me, you know what I'm saying? I'm also the big homie to him. You heard? Tank, just in case. You know that.
Tank the big homie though. Tank, you and Tank the big homies though.
Yeah, the Tank is my big homie, so I gotta, you know, like fall in line. But anyway, what I'm saying is He was trying to tank me today. So what I'm saying is,
Never that, bro. You know it's always love.
I know, bro. I know. But what I'm saying is that basically like Chris Ryder came up with the concept, leave our money within our communities. Let's do that. How do we get our people to divert to that? How do we do that, John Tavar? How do we change people from stop buying fucking Gucci when Gucci already defamed the black community? Like they literally defamed us. Remember not too long ago? They had like so and people still buying Gucci. So how do we stop people from doing that? Do we bring more awareness, or do we just like I don't understand? Like, how do we do that? Like, if we could get because we're not gonna get 100% of our people to do it, but if we could get at least 60% of them to do it, I think we could a little bit more than half. I think we'll be making an impact. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, first of all, I want to definitely, piggyback what Tank said, because that's a perfect valid point. Having a show, having a platform, you know what I'm saying? I said that last week, where this definitely could make a big difference because we're spreading a lot of information. Now it's all about the listener, the viewer, to really take in the information and really think about it and process it. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully they can pass it on to the next person. Yeah, again, this is why having this platform means so much to me, because now we have a say-so. 10, 15 years ago, we couldn't do this. So now that we have this type of platform, it's something that I'm so grateful. You know what I mean? Because again, everything begins with awareness first. You have to be aware of what's going on in order to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Great. I mean, again, I'm not trying to, talk down to anybody who's out there protesting and doing all that stuff, but we got to be more aware of what's really going on and look at the bigger picture of this. You know what I'm saying? So that begins first with awareness. Now thinking about new tactics, what's been working, and what's not working. We got to really understand that. And by doing that, we have to go back into history. We have to know our history. But most people, unfortunately, don't go back to the history. That's why, like I said last weekend, I'm an educator. Like, I take my profession very serious, okay? Very serious. Like, I really educate over 140 students. And I do my very best to really educate them to be critical thinkers. And I'm part of the most underappreciated professions on the face of this earth. Because you don't know how teachers are not even appreciated of what we do every single day to change every single life of each kid. So that's why I'm very, I take this very serious. You know what I'm saying? Very serious. So awareness, you know what I'm saying? And making people critically think and understand the true value and look at the bigger picture of certain things. We just can't look at things narrowly. We got to look at the bigger picture. And it's an economic system. It's a system itself that's been designed to keep us into a certain pocket. We have to break out of that. But by doing that, we have to educate ourselves. And we have to understand that economics runs this world, period. Economics does. If you don't understand economics and how it works, then we're all going to be doomed. You know what I mean? So again, it stands with being educated. So the awareness, being educated, and figuring out new tactics of what things could work for us. Because again, it has not been working for us. It's not. It's very evident. There's no debate about that. And you know what I mean? So that's why, again, I'm so proud that we got this platform. We're using it. I'm so positive on my IG posts. I want to make sure that I'm able to get, people to even look. And it's even like to see people that are even responding to the messages. To me, that just shows man, they're paying attention. And that's good to see that. When we get them come on, our guests, they're paying attention. When they salute us, I like what you guys are doing. You see that right there?
Even if one person says it.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm saying. So that's what I've been doing. Having conversations.
Piggyback on what John Tabar was saying. We'll piggyback what John Tabar was saying. Sorry, Chris. Just real quick. I'm just gonna make this real quick. What you were saying is, what I'm saying, like, what if the powers that be don't change the social economic system? How do we make that happen?
Why are you still talking about these people? They're not gonna do it.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So the way that we do is by educating our kids and our future generations how the value of money by saving and investing in things and
And
getting
investing in our
education.
own people.
And
Investing in our
exactly.
own people.
So now for that, now the other part is how do we get the rest of the people outside of our inner home, from our inner circle to go the same way? Because we was talking about having a platform. Yes, we have a platform, and I thank God that we have this platform because we do spread awareness and we come a long way. Like we've gained a lot of following, and we're still fighting. But a lot of people give up after a while because most people don't like to hear this. They don't like to hear positive shit. I've put up videos of us talking about some real shit, and then I put up a video of some nigga falling on the floor, and that shit gets 1,000 views, and we only get 50. But that doesn't stop me. I know that eventually, if I keep on pushing the button, if I
Here you go.
3 or 4 times a day, they're gonna get it. And we've been getting the response because we get like 3,000 to 4,000
Consistency, my brother.
listeners. We get 3,000 to 4,000 listeners. 5 sometimes after we post a podcast. But what I'm saying is, how do we get a general like big following where people are gonna listen to positive shit? You know what I'm saying? Because people are so used to just like just liking a troll or seeing whack shit or funny
Well,
stuff.
yeah, I mean that's just the way it is. But you gotta stop. You gotta educate people. You gotta educate people through conversations. So if they want to focus on some ignorant shit, you correct them and say this is the positive way to do things. The way that we change is what Tank's been saying and John Tavar, and what we've all been saying is we gotta create that segregation between us, create that economy between us. We gotta spend our money as much as we can with our
create
people.
segregation away from corporate America, not from each other.
Yeah.
We don't want to segregate.
That's what I'm saying with each other. I'm saying keep it with each other, keep it within each other, and then educate. And when we have an opportunity to look out for the youth, we do that. I had a situation the other day where I went into the Chinese restaurant after I picked up my son from my mom's, and there was this young kid, probably 14, had to be Spanish or something like that. So he came into the Chinese restaurant. He asked the lady, he's like, "How much is a plate of food?" So she told him the price, and he walked away. He was like, "Oh, that's too expensive." So I called back to, I was like, yo, young man, you hungry? You want something to eat? He goes, "Yeah, I'm hungry." I said, "Get what you want, man. I got you. Don't worry about it. Get what you want."
That's great. Wow, that was awesome, Chris.
You know what I'm saying?
I
saw that opportunity to look out for this young man, because who's to say that plate of food is the only plate he's eating for the day? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, it might have been
know that
his first or last meal or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Last meal, you don't know that. So then for me, it's like, let me take it up and feed this young man. So that way he could say, that guy didn't know me from a hole in the wall.
Yep.
But he took care of me at that point. And that to me is what we have to do.
Yeah,
is take care of our youth when we need to and educate them.
And that kid, because you did that, he's probably gonna do that to somebody else. Another thing, Tag, before you go, I'm gonna let you go, Tag. Another thing is, when we have the information, we have to share it. We can't retain it and be selfish. You know what I'm saying? A lot of celebrities of our culture, Black and Latinos, they make it to a certain statue and they don't come back to where they came from and educate people. A lot of them don't do that. You know what I'm saying? It's all about individual gain. So we have to get better at that. You see how Chris just gave the kid a plate of food? That kid is going to appreciate that. Maybe he might not, but I bet you he will. He's probably going to do it for the next man. That probably open up his mind.
And I told him too, like, yo, stay in school, my brother. Be smart. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, yeah, I'm about to go to high school, and couple years I'm gonna graduate, go to college. And I'm like, yeah, man, just keep on, man, just keep on. I just gave him words of encouragement.
Did you tell him that a college is not everything? If he wants, he could become a butcher, and you gonna teach him how to cut meat and stuff?
This guy just can't help himself.
You gotta admit, though.
We can have the most serious conversation, Tank, and you
gotta admit, though, my shit be savvy.
He just gotta throw that in, though.
My shit be savvy. My shit be savvy, though. I should be whack.
Yo, listen, man, real quick, right? Because I gotta go.
Look at John
get my nephew and all that. But listen.
So this is Tank's final thought, though. And we do final thoughts then.
Here's your final thought, Tank.
Nah, man, I didn't have.
You gotta get the nephew, man. You on some little pump?
Listen,
Fuck perps,
I've been on final for the past hour and a half. If they ain't catch it by then, they ain't never gonna catch it. No matter what I say right now. But I'm just using this as an example. Now it's just uh I'm not gonna say televised, but it was just brought to everyone's attention who has social media that a couple corporations are funding Donald Trump. Now, me myself, I am a huge Wendy's fan. I am so disgusted with Wendy's right now.
Yeah, man.
I will never eat Wendy's again a day in my life. Understand what I'm saying? Del Fresco's.
Damn.
One of the slamming in the ass stink spots in New York. You will never get my money. Bad enough it'd be two of us and it's $500 at the end of the night. But with that being said, once again, drastic time calls for drastic measures. Whatever your measure is, then that's what it is. You can't put everybody in a pot and think they all gonna boil at the same rate. It's not happening.
You're not.
Every single piece of rice don't cook at the same time.
Ooh, I like that. Damn. Not every grain cooks at the same time.
So I guess Tank, you up for the challenge?
My bad. Every grain, not every piece.
Nah, I mean, I'm just trying to correct you. I mean, you correct me all the time too. I mean, I'm just being your brother.
So Tank, I guess you up for the challenge then, right? Keep all that money.
Listen, I've been on that, bro. You won't find nothing Gucci, Louis, Prada, nada, nothing in my closet, bro.
So cop that John Tavares shirt, bro. Stop playing, man.
All you gotta do is let me know where to buy it at. It's as simple as that, bro.
Support, though. You support, man. I know
that. At the end of the day,
send them the link, bro, after the podcast. You heard, John?
Listen, man. At the end of the day, man, keeping it a buck until we say to ourselves, "Enough is enough." This should be the enough is enough moment. Just to bring back what you said. It's 2020, right?
2020, clear vision, perfect vision. Everything is coming out. All the fuckboy shit is coming out. All the fuckery.
So now that it's being exposed, what are you gonna do?
Word.
Because at the end of the day, Michael Jackson said it best, man. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to make a change.
Damn, man, yo.
And no message could be any clearer. You know what I'm saying? If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change.
That's right.
Yo, damn, man, you killed it, yo. Your final thoughts, your final thoughts be like epic, bro. Like it's like the second time you do that shit.
That's why I had to get him on the show because he gonna spit that.
Talking about the man in the mirror, right? That's what it's called, right? That Michael Jackson song. I didn't know a killer had such a good voice. Chris had a good voice. He kind of sang real quick.
You caught that, right?
Yo, I knew for a fact that he was gonna say something. That's why, yo, I just sat here. I said 10, 9, 8, 7.
Houston, we got blast off.
I was counting down the comeback that he was gonna come.
But you see how he sets himself up.
I gotta give him some alleys.
You see how he sets himself. No, you don't make it easy for him. You don't make it easy for me because my shit be savvy. My shit be savvy, Jay. My shit be savvy, Jay. You come out of nowhere like with some shit, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Tú no estás de pinga, tú estás de nalga. You heard?
Yeah, man. Yo, Tank, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. We got the Vengeful. You're the author of Vengeful, a great book that a lot of people should read. Just drop your credentials. This we're gonna know where to get this at and copy.
Listen, man.
Amazing book, by the way. Amazing book.
This can be purchased at freezingpress.com. It could be on Amazon, iTunes, Kindle, however you like to read. It's there. Please support. Not only that, I appreciate my brothers for allowing me to share this platform with them. It's always a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? And, hopefully I'll be back and we make some more epic interviews happen. You know what I'm saying? Whoever's listening to this, man, I hope you and your family are blessed. But if you believe it, you can achieve it. It starts within, man. You understand what I'm saying? Don't worry about what's going on in this world and worry about what's going on in your life, because the only way for you to make somebody else's life different, you have to make your life different.
There you go.
Forget about motherfucking social media and what the Joneses want you to be. Be what God wants you to be.
Mm.
Yo, real quick, Tank, remember last time you was in the show that we actually were there to talk about the main topic, well, one of the main topics of your book, because it has a lot of main topics, but you know, like the AIDS awareness, right? Me and Chris Ryder, we read the whole book, but John Tavar did it. John Tavar, have you read the book since then?
Huh?
Don't harm me. You asking yourself, Tank. He harming me right now.
I'm focused right now on something I'm looking at right now.
You asked him, Tank. I said,
go
ahead. You do it since you're the guest.
He said that, have you read the book since the last time that we had this conversation or the interview, should I say?
I read the entirety book, but I read.
Oh man, it's been months, bro, almost a year, bro. This guy.
Tank, like, yo, I put, because I mean, it was book day, which people even know that even exists. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't even know it exists. Like, oh, really? It's a book day?
I need
and my
you
man Tank hit me up like, yo, Jay, you gotta make sure.
Yeah.
I said, yo, how you got a whole books out here for people to read, and my book is not a part of that.
Yo, that's crazy. Like
he
there reading. He's there reading Stephen King's books, James Patterson, like the famous niggas,
man,
bro. Like
at the end of the day, bro,
you gotta finish reading Brentford. That's sad you haven't done.
I let people move at their own pace, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that's my brother, just like the two of you are. I don't stress none of that, man. Let's talk about since before we leave. Let's talk about your man Pops. How he's in the book and he ain't never even read it. Let's talk about him.
No way, Pops never read the book.
Yes. Let's talk about that. Wow. My right hand man.
It was his birthday 2 days ago too.
Forget about Pops, man.
It was his birthday on Friday.
Thursday. I love him to death, man, but he can go kill himself.
Nigga. It was Friday. His birthday was Friday.
Oh yeah, the 5th. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
one of those days, man. I forget just like you forgot to read my book, yeah.
If you're watching this, Pops, I'm very upset at you, and I'm gonna call you. You know what? We're gonna call him right now, actually.
Fucking read Tank's book, motherfucker.
Oh, man.
That shit.
But I'm out of here, though, man. I appreciate y'all, man. And you know, whenever y'all want me back to share this platform with you, man.
Nah, absolutely, my brother, man. I mean, every time you're here, man, it's always very insightful. A lot of information you give, man. You're a very intellectual brother. And I mean, I'm glad that you're talking that real talk, though, man. I mean, it's very important that you say those kind of things because, again, we need new tactics, though, man. You know what I mean? In all sense of economics, though. So your input, man, definitely made a big difference to me. And I hope it makes a difference to the listeners right now because you made a very valid point, though, brother. Very valid, brother.
Last point I want to make, man. Last point I want to make is to piggyback off the economics. If you do not have a felony in any state in the United States, please go get your gun license, man. This is the only state that allows you to be able to carry arms. All across the Western Hemisphere, that shit, them niggas don't do that. Go to China and find somebody.
Concealed.
Go find it. Doesn't concealed fucking AR in your crib. What difference does it make? You able to have one, fam, to protect yourself.
No, because you said this state allows you to walk around with one.
Bro, demon. Besides the this is why now. Besides the
I'm not fucking with you right now.
Hold on. Besides the
that's what happens when you joke around. A lot of people don't take you serious.
Yo, besides the county in Texas that lets you open carry, which is the only open carry state in the United States, bro, you can only have a concealed weapon, bro.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So back to like I was saying, man.
That was a dumb question, mommy. I got it.
Listen, there is a war out here, man. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And a point that I made earlier, a person will attack you with an arm knowing that you have none, But if he knows that you have one, he might still attack you, but the tactic will be different.
Yes. He's gonna think twice because he know he gonna get got too. Talking about that, just call Pops. He ain't pick up. You know what time it is.
Oh yeah,
he's watching the live right now.
That's his style. That's his style.
He's scared.
I love him anyway, B. But my brothers, man.
Shout out to Pops, man, for with that sea moss, man. He's moving that sea moss. I got that shit. She got my skin feeling radiant right now. I feel good, bro. You should cop that.
Yo, you
You
already
don't
know,
cop it
man.
because you ain't even get your book, bro. Fuck
Nah,
that.
it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. But
Still
yo,
love. Still love. I hear you.
love, man. You know what I'm saying?
Love conquers all, though, right? Love conquers everything, brother.
Always.
Everything,
Right,
everything,
man.
man.
So what's your
I
final thought
talk
there, Tag? We're gonna end it up with a final thought because we've been in
another
the
one.
That
Oh,
was
you
Yeah,
want
you
another
already
one?
did it. No.
Okay, no,
Wait,
no, 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 no.
You done, bro.
Nah,
You done.
nah,
We're
nah,
gonna
don't worry
mute you. We're
about it.
gonna
Nah,
mute
nah,
your
nah, nah,
mic right
nah.
now.
Nah, this is even better.
We're gonna mute your mic, bro. Hold
To all Latinos in the world, just in case you didn't get
up. The memo.
you didn't get the well, we'll leave it at memo. I was trying to find something more eloquent, but you're black. You know
Word.
what I'm saying?
Everybody's black. Even white
You only
people are black.
speak you only speak the dialect of your slave master, man. The
Yo,
fact
I'm
that we
glad.
think that we're anything but that, please do me a favor and go to the census and fill out a census and then tell me where the color brown is.
Yo, that's crazy. Yo,
And at the same time, you know, just like his story is always his story, I'm nobody's panic, you heard? I'm an African Taino, you dig? I only
word.
speak I only speak Latin because I don't know what my original dialect was. You
Ooh,
heard? And
listen.
if there was a way for me to figure out what that dialect was, I would never speak Spanish a day in my life. You hear me?
I got my hand
Mother
up. I got my hand up.
Yo, let me stop, man, because that shit getting me emotional. Because that shit getting me
Look,
Wow,
tongue
no, you
tied.
going deep, brother. You going
yo, you
deep.
That
hit
shit
it
getting me
right at
so
yo.
tight.
You hit it. You hit it right.
I don't even
Get
want
it.
to get into it, man. I told you I got things to do,
It's
man.
too deep, man. Listen,
That should be another 2 hours
it's
we
too
gonna be
deep.
here.
Listen,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
tell
we
you this much.
appreciate
I'll tell
that,
you this
brother.
much. Listen, I'll tell you this much. We can't expect everybody to comprehend, to rationalize things because not everybody's built the same way mentally. You know, when you talk to somebody about something is actual facts or something is real, and they look at you like you're dumb. No, the dummy, you're the dummy because you don't understand. You know, we have
Yo,
to understand that too. But Jean Elliott, right? You guys heard of Jean Elliott, right? She's a white lady. They'll understand the
He was
fundamentals
an
of life,
educator.
right? Yeah, and she was on the Jada Pinkett show. What's the name of the Jada Pinkett show?
I don't
Something
even
like the
know.
I
pink
forget the
table,
name, but
pink table,
I'm gonna
red table.
Or some
Red,
shit like
big,
that.
big red, yes, like
I'm
a
gonna
big
play this
circle red
audio
table.
so you guys can hear this. We're all black, even white people. The only reason why white people are they're
Because
faded black,
they're
they're
Albanians.
faded. No, they're faded.
They're Albanians.
No, yeah, they faded. They're faded black people because
Albino, my bad,
no,
not
yeah,
Albanian.
they're faded black people because they moved away from the equator and they moved into the Himalayan mountains where it was mass snow and cold. So they turned lighter throughout evolution. But check this out. I'm gonna play this right now, guys, real quick.
Bum ass iPhone.
In this country, what we call education is actually indoctrination. And it takes us from the ages of 5 to the age of 18 to thoroughly indoctrinate people so that they will believe in the myth of white superiority. And it is a myth. Right. Now, you can't do that while you're teaching that Columbus discovered America. Right. There were black people on this continent 4,000 years before Columbus was born. Right. We teach black history in the schools as if it started with slavery. I'm not a white woman. I'm a faded black person. My people move far from the equator. And that's the only reason my skin is lighter. That's all any white person is. Because our great, hey. Because there's no such thing as race.
Jada Pinkett going in.
There's no such thing as race. There's one race. Right. There's one race, the human race. And then we all came from the same black women 300,000 to 500,000 years ago.
All right, so
Yo,
right there,
hold on. Before you go, bro, y'all niggas know I gotta leave, man. Y'all making me listen. For those who don't know who that woman is, please not Google, go to YouTube. She has a show on there called Brown Eye Blue Eye Study. So pretty much the basis of this study is dividing the brown eye people from the blue eye people, as says with the title, but the blue eye people are the inferiors. They're the so-called minority of the experiment. Need to see this shit. Shit is groundbreaking. You understand what I'm saying? And back to like I was saying earlier about Dominicans and all that shit real quick. Yo, the craziest shit Dominicans have such a rich history that they don't know about
Yes.
due to Trujillo. I'm not gonna go through a whole who Trujillo is. He was just
Right.
a Dominican dictator that thought that he was even bigger than Jesus. If you have, the only reason why he's not as known as Hitler because Hitler had money. Pretty much that's it.
Yeah, he had more than Hitler
So
actually.
yeah, but he didn't have the resources to be able to do all that shit
Yeah.
that he did to the Jews. You understand what I'm saying? And plus, the U.S. was like, we already know what Hitler did. We're not gonna let you do that. You know what I'm saying? That shit is way deeper than what we talking about. But yo, Columbus never been to America.
Right. He never stepped foot in America.
He never stepped foot in America.
Yeah.
He stepped foot in Dominican Republic and lost his fucking mind.
Right.
He's seen a bunch of Africans and a bunch of Indians.
But Dominican Republic is part of America. What are you talking about?
What?
Northern, like America is just not the United States.
What?
America is just not the United States. It's two continents. So
what?
The Dominican Republic is part of America. What are you talking about?
What?
You say he didn't step foot in America.
What are you talking about right now, my brother? Check this out, man.
Because I'm a light-skinned brother. You want to attack me? All right, I get it.
I'm just as light as you are, fam. I'm disgusted that I'm just like beaming.
Yo, Tank, we got to do an episode where we just talk about that. Because I know you got to.
But real quick, let me tell you something.
Hit me up,
do you know, listen.
Hold on, real quick. All day, he gonna turn
there was this lady, right? You should check my Instagram. And I put up this white lady. She's telling a group of Spanish people that that's not American music, right?
First of all, Spanish is a dialect, not ethnicity. Okay, carry on.
But what I'm saying is South America and North America, all countries in those two continents are American.
Yo, where
America.
is DR at? Where's DR at?
It's in the Caribbean. It's part of.
All right, where in the geography is DR at?
It's part of North America, right? The Caribbean.
You just said North and South, right? North and South are connected, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So, because I gotta go, but you're making me. So, if North and South are connected, but yet DR and Jamaican Cuba's over. This is the United States. They're over here. How are they a part of the United States?
Bro, I'm talking about continent-wise. The DR is connected to one of the continents. It's North America, right?
What?
No, I see what he's saying, but
the Caribbean is not a continent, my nigga.
I understand what you're saying, but the way you're breaking it down is crazy right now.
How am I breaking it down? How is it crazy? Canada, Mexico, the U.S., and the Caribbean and the Virgin Islands is part of North America. Then South America and the Central American little countries are part of South America. There's only 7 continents. Let's name them: South America, North America, Antarctica, Europe, Asia, Australia, and what's the other one? Africa.
I was waiting to see if you was gonna forget that one. I was about to for real.
Nigga, you gotta wake up early.
Forget one of the biggest joints. Yo, listen, man. Once again, man, I love y'all.
I'm getting treated like Drake right now, bro, because I'm a light-skinned brother in the rap game.
Listen, man, I love y'all, and this is a conversation for another day, bro.
I just have it.
Take it easy, man.
Giggles on the show. That's all.
Now, but I say though, but he never stepped foot in Colombia either, and his name after him.
Yo, bro, this guy needed an African navigator to even get to DR. The stupid motherfucker thought he was in Asia and thought the world was flat.
He wasn't even Spanish. He wasn't even from Spain. He was Italian.
He's Italian. Yes, he's Italian. But anyway, man, like I said, yo, hit me up, man. We can have this discussion, and
we're gonna have you back on though soon, brother. Definitely. And with that video you talk about, G. Elliott, I actually did a lesson with that with my students.
Listen,
really?
she's a beast.
They loved it.
She's a beast, bro.
She's a beast. You heard?
She knows her shit.
Just the way she speaks, you can see just by what that bum ass iPhone played just now. She's a problem, yo.
How did he was coming?
You thought you was the only one that was slick?
That was savvy because you came out of nowhere.
That was slick, huh?
Yeah. That's what I've been trying to tell Chris. Like, you gotta come with the shots when it's like now expected. You can't just like do it while we're talking about something. Cause this is like okay, whatever.
You already know,
I
man. Love y'all, man. I'm
I
out
throw
of
my
here, man.
shots at now,
All right,
but
yo,
that's all right.
just make sure that John Tavar reads that book though before the next time you come on.
And I'm gonna
Next
get
time you
that,
come
and I'm gonna get that shirt too. So you already know, man. Love y'all, man.
Love,
I'm out of
brother,
here.
love,
Already know,
love,
man.
love,
Already
man.
know, man.
Purchase that book too, Jay.
Yeah, man. That was Taino Domingo Tank, man. You already know that's my brother right there. He always got like good shit to say. He's very knowledgeable, very educated. I love that guy, man. Shout out to my Harlem Cats. But real quick, my final thought, and I'm gonna make it real simple. Real simple. The point of being human is to serve humanity. If you ain't doing that, get the fuck out of my house. That's it.
Damn, that was just like straight to the point.
Straight to the point. The main point of being human is to serve humanity. If you ain't here for that, get the fuck out of my house. Like for real. Like I don't like you should just die, bro. Like you shouldn't even be in existence, bro. And I know that good exists and evil exists, and it's not a perfect world, but we have to, have a little bit of a better balance. We have to have at least 70-30 or 80-20, 80% good and 20% bad, because we're not gonna get rid of bad. Because in order for good to exist, evil has to exist.
Well,
And that's my final thought. That's my
utopian
final thought.
world. I got you. I got you. So, Chris Ryder, you want to end it off, or you want me?
Because I'm on a arriba moment right now. Arriba.
I ended off. There you go.
Oh man, I'm gonna just keep it the way I said last week, though, man. I'm gonna just keep, saying it. Always keep an open mind to new information, brother. That's it, man. Because that's the only way the world's gonna change, man. We gotta start thinking, man. We just can't keep doing the same thing that we've been doing for so many years and expect things to change. We gotta keep an open mind to new information, and don't be afraid to be wrong. Because that's the problem too. People are afraid to be wrong because they afraid that they challenge their self-identity of thinking one particular way all their life and see something that's different, and they don't want to accept it because they're afraid of that. Don't be afraid to be wrong. That's it.
Yeah. That's a good final thought. Chris Ryder, man, what's up?
I mean, like we've been saying, educate yourself, educate the youth, keep the money within each other, and just be more self-aware about everything. Don't care about wearing your Gucci. Don't worry about what this person on reality TV did. Don't give a shit about what this actress did or this actor did, because at the end of the day, they don't give a fuck about you and what you're doing. So why in the world should you care? One of the things I hate in the world is seeing how celebrities doing in quarantine. I don't give a shit what they doing. They chilling in a $2 million house.
They're fine.
With they're fine. But you gotta worry about the fact that you gotta come to that roach infested, dirty ass fucking apartment where you live with 5 or 6 other people and y'all struggling. But yeah, you worried about what this person's doing. You know what I'm saying? You gotta educate yourself. You're in a predicament, rise above it and work hard to get to where you need to be. Because if you believe in yourself hard enough and you work hard enough, you can rise above your situation. Like Jay said, we have to change the narrative. We have to change the system. We have to create that system for ourselves to benefit ourselves, because there's only a system in place if we allow people to continue operating within that system. We have to change it.
Yep.
So I wanted to end off this podcast by saying I want to challenge our listeners to keep their money in minority businesses and local businesses, or refrain from spending from any kind of major corporations, whether it's Target, whether it's Walmart. I mean, if you got to buy stuff at Target that you can't buy in your local stores, obviously, but major clothing stores, if you can buy those pair of Jordans in your local store, buy it there. Don't stand in the Foot Locker line. Don't stand in the Nike line. You can buy those Jordans in your local store.
And stop buying from Amazon. Stop buying from Amazon. No shots.
Well, no. The thing is, Amazon's making a killing because everything is done online.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
like,
yeah.
You still have other online businesses too. They could.
Yeah.
But anyway,
support your homie who's got their own clothing line. Support their hustle. And just let's create our own social economic system where we look out for one another. Right. We can't just talk about it. We got to be about it. So I definitely want to challenge my brothers to keep it as much local as they can, and just educate yourself and be open-minded, and start making the change within your community first, because that's where it starts.
Yeah, I definitely,
because on a federal level, that's something completely different. But any real change to happen, it has to happen where you live, and that's in your district, holding your councilman accountable, holding your district leader accountable, holding your mayor accountable, holding your governor accountable, holding the Congress of your state accountable.
Assemblyman.
And that's how it changed. Assemblyman. That's how you make the change, because it's possible. We have the power, and as Jay has said many times, power is in the people.
Yep.
That's it.
Yes,
That's my.
I just want to say one thing before Jay chimes in. I definitely want to cop that Duck Hunter hat you have with John Tavares, so I can add it to my collection. Yeah, I have.
I have a Pharrell hat.
Yeah, it is a Pharrell hat. He made that shit popular. I have a John Tavares sweater. I have a John Tavares sweater vest for like more eloquent situations. I have like 4 John Tavares shirts. A few of them I got, for GP because I'm a cousin, family. But I'm missing the hat. I don't have the hat, so I gotta add that to the collection. I'm gonna purchase it.
Definitely.
I don't want a family discount. I'm getting it straight up, brother. At the retail price.
Jay, I've been telling you for the longest time, you gotta create your website, bro.
Yeah, well, I did already, but I gotta redesign it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gotta redesign
it and really start getting like people to model your shit, putting that shit on your page.
Because the last time I went to his website and I pressed the link, it took me to some like Asian midget porn shit. I was like, what the hell?
What the hell?
I still own rights to it though, but I got to redesign it. But I mean, just to say this, man. I mean, I'm glad that we actually are opening our minds more, and also, we got to take more ownership though, because at the end of the day too, though, I understand why certain people go to these bigger corporations because, some stores can't really compete with these big corporations. They can't set these prices, so we got to kind of like pay a little extra, but still we're keeping it within our community. You know what I'm saying? We're still keeping that money within our, neighborhoods. You know what I mean? And we cannot allow ourselves to be sold out, because that's what these corporations do. They buy out these mom and pop stores and eliminate them out the competition. His monopoly is crazy, bro. Walmart's bought so many stores because, like they don't want to compete with nobody, and they got the money to buy off these stores. So we gotta just say no, do not sell out, you know what I'm saying, and just keep this thing going within ourselves.
Word, I feel that. You already know, man. Then at the Roundtable podcast, Revolutionary Economics. Today was a great episode with Taino Domingo, aka Tank from Harlem. Man, I appreciate you guys, man. Today was a great day because we actually went live on YouTube for the first time. Yay!
Baby. We had some
took a little bit of
in the beginning, but
for our listeners out there, that we took a long time. It was Chris's fault. He was taking a long time to come on, so I'm sorry.
I was having
Chris's fault. We was having technical difficulties too. We just learned the process. We're independent and we're growing. You know what I'm saying? That we went from being at a location to being remotely now. So we're just giving you guys information regardless. We're not going to stop. Right, JT? Chris Ryder?
Consistency is key, brother.
Yep. We've been at it, man. We're about to hit 100 episodes soon, you heard?
Power to the people, brothers.
Oh, yeah, we got to make a big celebration for that one.
So we know. So we're going to end it up with some music. This upcoming music is coming from The Other Day. He's a producer for EDM and shit. So play his music.
I think you introduced me to him one time.
Yeah, man. He's actually he wants to come
on.
on.
Any artist who wants to get their songs played on the podcast, email us, hit us up on Instagram at Then at the Round Table. You know how it is.
And he wants to come on to be a guest DJ, since we have the discrepancy sometimes with our DJ, but they're gonna be on. He's gonna come on next Monday. So he'll be on next Monday to just do his thing on the turntables. You know what I'm saying?
All right, cool.
So you already know, man. We out this, man. You already know. Then at the Roundtable podcast live from New York, baby. YouTube and all that. We back on. You heard? We out of here.
There's a podcast there.
Last of the day, man. This is the song belongs to me. Yeah, producer from Uptown. Watch the high segment. You already know, man. Check out Fader Radio. Whoa, man. Whoa.